Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I put a picture on how did it end because I know a lot of people, they just go straight away to the end. So this is the final result of the tier list. Now leave me alone. I'm gonna jump. The first one that we are gonna introduce in our tier list is gonna be a very controversial. And you know why? Because I'm gonna include it its own tier. You know why is it the Hans tier? Because that's where you get the machine gun. It's in a tier on its own because it's the only goddamn weapon that can do per turn more than was around 160 attacks, which is insane. And depending on the boss, from having full health to 0, even in difficulty 9. If you want some proof of it, I have clips of myself beating up the Grand Grunion. The Hans machine gun is definitely the best in the game. The only downside is it doesn't have short hits, but also that's the biggest point because you can use this weapon against frigging units. But well, moving on from the Hans machine gun, let's see. I'll be honest, obviously Mary's one. It's not a bad weapon. It actually is really helpful. But the problem is, the only thing this weapon does is, has a short hit, and it has this spell. So it's a very situational weapon, and I think it's a good thing to put it in the F tier for Fairy. Okay, let's see. Oh, the Undersword is definitely a must-have. The weapon that you need to use if you are doing a soul level 1 difficulty 9 run is a must-have just for the fact that you can start the battle by going first just by equipping it, and you have an extra action. And talking about weapons that they are disappointments. There you go, my beautiful Morgenstein. Honestly, probably gonna go in a C. It's completely optional. And whenever you get the Morgenstein, it doesn't even really add anything. It's not like as good as it's in Black Souls 1. Like, there is so many weapons that disappoint here. The Glad Kit kind of has no defense, but overall, the other options on this list, B tier. It's not a weapon that I recommend to anyone because there is so many better options. Just pretty much ignore it. Okay, let's gonna go with the Bunker Shield. It's not in the must-have tier because there is a lot of stuff that you can use before the Bunker Shield and its improvement. The Guardian Bunker is a nice option, especially if you want to survive the last hit of Onimusha. It's gonna put you on A tier. The Magic Juke Bow is another case of a weapon that in practice it seems good. Like, gives you madness, it gives you regeneration, and honestly, with all the combinations and other weapons that we use, the Magic Juke Bow, it doesn't really get there. Maybe B, because it's way better than the other thing. It's gonna go with the Mock Turtle Ladle. I think it's just funny that you can literally stun people with it. But aside from getting more lucky, it's not like a very useful weapon. So I'm gonna rank it at C tier with the Morgenstein. Oh boy. Let's gonna see. Holy Gunblade from Florence. It's not that bad, but it comes in a point of the game where there is not many fights that you can use it, that there is no better options for it. So I'll rank it at B tier. In this list, there is way better options than that. Purple Sword on the most improved version of it. In some instances, can be useful, but only when you do the first skill of the attack in that turn. Because the next turn, unfortunately, is not gonna develop a lot. But the good thing as well is it will do way more damage to Jabberwocky. I'm gonna put it on A tier. I think that's the dagger. I don't wanna talk much about this. There is way better options. No one uses it. This weapon is a clear message that is a D tier weapon. Don't touch it ever. A clear S tier weapon for me should be Ushikatana, Kirishikatana, whenever you improve it or not. Where are you? Oh, you are here. It's very solid. The trade-off is you are using your HP. It's also good for the weapon swapping. It adds the 100% critical chance. It can do very good damage on its own. But the problem is the nature of how. You cannot know how many actions you get that turn. It's a little bit dicey. It's a solid S tier weapon. Not everyone gonna agree on this one, but you need this weapon for just one fight. And it's a mandatory fight. Unlike the other weapons, like for example, Guardian Bunker and the Portal, those situational things doesn't hamper your progress. But this weapon, if you don't have it, you will not advance in DLC 3. And that's the rotten side Jabberwocky. Get that weapon, you are gonna use it in the Florence battle, it's a must-have. If you don't have it, you're probably not gonna beat that fight. The Drake Sword. The Drake Sword, it can be very situational as well. The cool thing is you can get burned, and certain enemies like Uni, if you can burn them, it can be very good. It's not a bad weapon, but I'll say it's not a must-have, so I'm gonna put it on the lower end of A tier. This is infuriating because this weapon is the last weapon you will get in the game before the final fight. I have this debate with a lot of people in the JRPG community is why in the freaking hell games insist on giving you the best weapon right before one or two bosses before finishing the game. You have no time to enjoy it. That one, it will be the Unis Rapier in Black Souls. It deserves an S tier and gives you the skills of Unis. Really, really good damage. But you know what? Yeah, no. You are gonna go down 8. You are not a bad weapon, but you literally have one only practical use, the Grand Grugnol fight. Oh yeah, just a basic purple sword, D tier. The only thing is worth it to unlock the secret fight. You need to do that on a single circle unless you get it from the Chaos Dungeon. Move on. Hero's Bow is a must-have weapon because it scales with speed as well when there is too many enemies for the hands machine hand to handle and you need to swipe them up with a combination of skills and ending up in the Uchigatana. It's a really must-have weapon and it's fairly easy to get as well. At the beginning of the game, if you know how to go to the Spore Village, it's just at the beginning of the Spore Village. I think the Knuckles is a very C-tier weapon. It's not precisely on the start of the game. You need to get it on the elevator between the Fuming Forest and the Village Game Market. There are much better weapons that you can get even earlier in the game. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't provide anything. You're not even useful. Yeah, it's here. We haven't talked about DLC 1 weapons a lot. The Deep Sea Anchor is the biggest must-have. As a weapon itself, it's already good. It doubles your attack. Doesn't prevent you from doing critical hits. So if you compensate that with having like a polar bear ring or two polar bear rings, but don't why it's also a must-have weapon. It can cause the status of frightened, but also it has one of the best buffs in the game, which is Indignation. Indignation increases your speed by a ton, but also you an extra action per turn. And it's one of the few buffs that is not affected by any domain or anything like that. Bonk the frigging Deep Sea Knight for it, because it's a worth it weapon and you need to get it. The Lost Sword. First of all, it's a Chaos Dungeon exclusive, like the Glahaki. I wouldn't say it's that bad. Should put the Lost Sword in the lower end of B tier because it's a Chaos Dungeon weapon, much better than the other weapons. Just don't bother about it. The Butcher Chainsaw is something that we are gonna put in C tier. Never use that weapon. You need to kill the Butcher, and by that point, you can have even the hands machine gun, so why in the hell are you gonna bother trying to talk about this? God's Angels. People consider the best weapon in the game. I am not denying the importance of the God's Angels, but I never put it on the must-have. I'll put it below the Uchigatana in the S tier. The problem with the God's Angels is a weapon that needs to be at least spending 7 turns attacking. That's the only thing that you can do when you have the God's Angels. It doesn't rev up with actions, it revs up with turns. So if you really want to do more damage, start with the Undersword, apply every single resin that you have in your inventory, have Cutie's Covenant, get King's Order, and just shoot the hell out of whatever is in front of you. I don't know, I'll say the God's Angels are definitely a good weapon, but I wouldn't call it like a must-have weapon. Let's gonna trash another late game weapon. The Layden's Axis is not significant. It comes too late on the game. Do like the current HP attack and maybe a couple of other things, but you only have one boss. And why in the heck are you gonna use the Layden's Axis? Forget about it. Okay, let's just gonna go now with magic. Why? Because I know a couple of you like magic. So let's gonna put the demon catalyst somewhere. I always say if you have a magic build in Black Souls, it's useless. It's only a few spells that they are useful, and most of them they are buffs. But I'm not gonna deny that the demon catalyst for a magic user is a good weapon. I'll recognize that it's a mid B tier for me. Okay? But because I am very biased against magic, for me, it's not a really good investment. And on the opposite side, I'm gonna contradict myself and I'm gonna put the Moonlight Greatsword as a must-have. Why? Because the Moonlight Greatsword has an barrage attack that scales with attack and magic, same as the Hero Bow, and that attack can help you out to bosses that they spawn many ads, or bosses that they steal your stats. Like, for example, the second phase of the Grand Grunion, when in the first turn your attack is gone. If you know how to do the questline, it's super easy to get. But overall, most people, they just find it on the Chaos Dungeon. Oh wait, the Partisan. The Partisan is a weapon that I got massively tricked into thinking it was a better weapon, especially for the units fight. But it ended up being like a okay weapon. Definitely the 100% counter is really, really good when it improves into the gun gear. Because of the counter, I'm gonna improve you to B tier. In the end, it's a weapon that is not doing a lot of this heavy lifting. I don't think there is a situation where you'll say, oh, yeah, I need the gun gear for this. The club is a weapon that I seriously, I'm gonna put it in the tier. It doesn't add anything to the game. You could remove it and nothing will happen. The sorcerer stuff. Same reason with the demon catalyst. It gets outclassed by the demon catalyst because, okay, yeah, zero cost magic is always good. But the demon catalyst improve your magic stat. Even though the mana costs that get increased, but there is some point that the mana doesn't even matter in the game. The sorcerer stuff. Yeah, no, you know what? Yeah, you are going to sit here just because you have a zero MP cost. But like I say, why in the hell you're gonna use as a magician the sorcerer stuff when you have the demon catalyst? I'll say hidden gem of a weapon. And it's a weapon that often gets overlooked, but can bring a significant impact on the game. And that's it, the mace and its improvement, the divine punishment, which I'm gonna put in it as an A tier. It can be really useful because it can literally strip naked a lot of the bosses that they rely more in abilities that they cost MP. It's very situational, but it's still kind of good. Another weapon that in theory seems good, but in practicality not really that great. The Ragnarok, put it in C tier. I see nothing that will say absolutely need this. No way. Okay, another one. The Arbiter's Scythe in B tier, because at least you can still get the HP and MP regen. Oh boy, we haven't put a must-have weapon in a long time already. And that is the Stone Ruler. The best weapon in the entire game, with you don't count obviously the Hans Machine Gun. The Hans Machine Gun is the boss killer. But the weapon that you use to farm is definitely the Stone Ruler and the Supreme Stone Ruler skill. It is the most useful farming tool in the entire game for the eyes, for Miranda. Even if you go to the Rabbit Kingdom, every guide I make about the early game, I always say the exact same thing. Go to the Mental Ward Asylum using the shortcut from the rabbit hole at Zen 0 and grab the frigging Stone Ruler. And it can be also used in bosses because it's also a really nice weapon to clear ads in a boss. You need to get the Supreme Stone Ruler, no matter what. Okay, and now we are running out of good options here. I'm gonna go with a fan favorite. The Miranda's Axe is another case of an S tier weapon. It never misses, it increases your critical chance and increases your counter attack. It's a really good weapon to end up the combo and have some way to defend yourself at the end of the turn. It's definitely an S tier weapon for me. The Wandorf Relay, I think it's a staple A tier weapon. It's one of the few things that can provide you with magic evasion. If you combine it with other things like the Mirror Shield or even the Yup Yup Covenant, but usually most of the bosses when they are attacking you with magic is usually a trade. I'm gonna save it here. The evasion in this game is not that good. Definitely it's not like the first game where you could evade anything. Evade got massively nerfed in this game. It's gonna get another trash tier weapon out of the way. The Butcher's Great Axe. When you have Miranda's axe, why in the hell are you gonna get this one? It's just gonna be D tier. The Broken Sword and the Sword of Enmity F for Fairy. Give her a broken sword. You have the Uchigatana and the Kishigatana. So why in the hell are you gonna use the Sword of Enmity? Just get into the trash bin and we will not talk about you ever again. The Beast Hunter Soul. Just why? Again, it's much better than other weapons, but don't waste your time. Same with the Halberd and the Bahamut. Leave it on the trash and move on. The Bandersnatch Sword. It's another of those B tier weapons. You never use it. The Great Sword and the Sword of the Giants. Why in the freaking hell are you gonna decrease your speed by half? Of course, it has a high stun chance, but stun is not as good I was in freaking Black Souls 1. Just keep this to live. Speed is the most important stat. I don't see a reason why you should be using this weapon. The Demon Edge and the Devil Edge. Interesting because of the lifesteal. It's very situational. Why in the hell are you gonna buy this whenever you get better options? In B tier, just because of the life draining possibilities, better options, much easier options to get. Why in the freaking hell you're gonna use any of the other weapons aside from the must-have list and the hands than anything below it? Probably it's gonna get super nerfed if we ever get a Black Souls 3. The Black Sword. It's in a very optional area. Non-relevant weapon. Doesn't provide much to the game. C tier. Warhammer. 50% destruction chance. 100% critical rate. But aside from that, it has minus 30% accuracy. And we are not gonna improve our accuracy for this weapon in specific. I'm gonna stick you in C tier. And the last weapon on our list, the most classical weapon of them, the Night Sword. Man, this like if you get the classical grim look, you will get this weapon. But for me, a classic doesn't excuse like it's an irrelevant. I'll stick this with the D tier. So well, this is my personal tier list of weapons. Definitely get the must-have because you are gonna use them in boss fights. Everything else up to you. Well, time to say goodbye. Check the other video. Join the Discord server if you wanna debate a little bit more. Bye.
Oh, Dr. Pepper, my bubbly friend. Left out overnight, is this the end? Your fizz is gone, your spirit flat. Tastes like syrup, what's up with that? Black to pepper, no pop, no cheer. Just a syrupy puddle, oh dear, oh dear. Charleston's looking for a good whack.